For those of you that don't know me, I'm John Rogers. I'm the owner of the Maine Running Company. Welcome to the Natural Running Symposium. A lot of chatter in the marketplace about this trend. I'm going to ask each of the panel members to introduce themselves and give a little background on their work and previous engagement in this activity. My background is Maine Running Company has been open for 6 years. We were the first company in Maine that had Newton footwear. We've had Vibrant Five Fingers for 5 years. So we've always been a proponent of the natural running movement as a tool to help with better form. My background is also, I worked at Reebok for 12 years. I worked at Mizuno for 2 years. Had a second stint at Reebok, and I was in a bunch of other jobs, which I don't care to mention. But the panel that you have up here is pretty extensive. To my right is Danny Abshire, who is a co-founder of Newton Footwear and their Chief Technology Officer. He has a book coming out that's called Natural Running.
That's it, yeah.
I wish we had it here so we could autograph it.
There's some subtitle, but we're not sure what that is yet.
But anyway,
Natural world.
I had the opportunity, and I'm going to ask Danny to give a little background after I introduce the other two. I had the opportunity to go to the Newton Summit in Boulder, Colorado this summer, and we participate in a number of vendor summits, and we get educated on their products, where they're going with it. And the Newton Summit was a wonderful opportunity to get more engaged with the whole natural running movement and what it represents. And there was good dialogue between retailers and their staff in terms of where they're taking this thing. And they were the original. They were the founding fathers of this movement. So it's a privilege to have Danny here because he is the father of natural running. Okay, Danny, you want to get a little bit more? Let me introduce you. Kirsten Buchanan owns Impact Sports, is the prominent gait analysis. She has her PhD from the University of Virginia. Many people have worked with her throughout the marketplace. She is a disciple of Irene Davis, who was part of her symposium in July. Very proponent of natural running, but also has a vast background in this subject. And I asked Jamie Raymond, who has been preaching good form running and chi running, since I've known him. And he was at the forefront in this marketplace of wearing Newton shoes. He's also worn Vibrams. He's gone through some injuries. He understands the adaptation process, and he is a huge, huge part of the running community in terms of advanced release technique and helping many runners adjust their form to help them get healthier. So that's the panel. I think there's a lot of expertise here. I'll ask Danny to comment a little bit more on his background, and then, well, why don't we just start? Let's just get going.
Yeah.
I think that's enough on the background. So.
Oh yeah, that's
So what I've asked everyone to do, and we're going to start with Danny, is for each panel member to give their perspective, history, research, and insight into this trend towards natural running. And I'm going to start with Danny, and then go to Kirsten, and then Jamie, and then I'll give my limited 2 cents, because I think these guys are really experts in this field, and we should hear from them versus me, who you guys hear from all the time. So go ahead, Danny.
Please forgive me if I pass out. I flew from China just a couple of days ago, and then flew across the country today. Got here at 4:30, so bear with me if I act really strange. Throw water on me or slap me or something. I had the privilege to live in Boulder, Colorado, almost all my life, and I had a business called Active Imprints. We made custom orthotics for many elite athletes, from speed skating to mountain climbing to marathoning. So I got to work with feet in general and see how we balance people's feet. So long story short, by understanding how you ski, you have to be centered with gravity, otherwise you're out of control. You got to make a right and left turn. You have to be in an athletic position. Or if you're playing basketball or football or any sport, you name it, you have to be in an athletic position. So that's kind of the basis of my work years and years ago. We started Active Imprints in 1988. And then by working with so many athletes and seeing so many common injuries, plantar fasciitis and chronic hamstring and Achilles, and we just started taking note of all these injuries and how shoe technology was changing, let's say from the 60s, till now. And humans do the best without footwear. That's how we evolved, and we're centered, and we're grounded, and we're balanced. But if we put a small amount of material, it could be under our toes. It'll alter the way we stand with gravity. If we put it underneath our heel, it'll alter. If we put it on the outside edge, it'll alter us, or the inside edge. So we're like this great little gyroscope, but if you mess with the gyroscope, it's going to be out of whack. So as we saw more and more athletes and noticed the differentials, we were pretty wacky. We started cutting shoes open and noticing all these, technologies, but also how the heel height evolved. And so with that, we said, there's really got to be a better way. And we started working on the Newton in 1996. Believe it or not, it's been a long time. So we struggled for 15 years, taking it to other brands, saying, should really look at this, because people do run on their forefoot when they're barefoot. They don't land on their heel. You'll crack your heel bone. It's sort of a placebo that you get from having a padded shoe with a big heel. And so anyhow, long story short, the biggest thing I see is that we evolved over thousands of years, and now past 40 years we evolved to run the way we do. But is that natural? And we're trying to now get people to realize, when people come up to me and say, I'm a natural heel striker, I go, yeah, when you walk, because that's the walking gait. Heel strike, mid stance, and toe off. When you analyze then parts of that, what is toe off? That's more like sprinting. You're way up on your toes. That's very propulsive. And then if that's sprinting and that's walking, then what is running? Dr. Lieberman, under center of mass, landing under your center of mass. That's where we land when we're barefoot. We don't break. We adapt. So, did I even answer the question?
No.
Okay.
Given your point of view on natural running, where it's come from, and Newton's perspective and research on it, from 1996 until when did you?
Yeah, 2007.
2007. So that's 11 years.
Well, the cool thing is, with that, during that meantime, we were protecting our, intellectual property. So we have 9 patents and 13 worldwide. So we spent a ton of money as just a privately held company just to protect our ideas, because if we knew that, we tried to sell it to them, at least 5 major brands, and they said, guess what? Nobody runs on their forefoot. They run on their heel. And so, of course, how can we sell the technology? It's based around protecting your entire foot, but focused in sensory feedback of your forefoot, protection of the forefoot. So, consequently, they all said no. So now they're, the cool thing was, we focused on a tiny little market, which people thought we were crazy, but I'd make orthotics for 13 Ironman world champions, so they trusted me, and we had a couple of triathletes that helped us out in 2007, and Natasha Badman was 40 years old and set a half Ironman world record at 40 years old wearing our shoes. So we were finding that almost everybody was running faster in the shoes. We're doing a study at MIT for the 4th year, and all the students do run faster in our shoes than they do in their most favorite shoe. And it's a combination of 2 things. Our shoes lose less energy on impact, and they run with more natural form, less braking. So, all in all, we launched in 2007. We were only an internet company the first year. 2 years into that, we're in 25 countries around the world and over 250 U.S. stores.
So, and there actually is a store in, is it West Virginia?
Yeah, Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
That all they do is sell Newtons.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.